Skull, and welcome back to Valkyrie's Art Corner. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notification of my new videos. Today we're doing something a little bit more simple, a little bit more fun. I've been feeling kind of down and dreary, so I felt like doing something that's a little bit more peppy. So we're going to take this Liquitex teal. This is golden phthalo blue, which is kind of like a greenish blue. Mars black, titanium white, and we're going to do a fun little picture of a unicorn. So what I'm doing off screen a little bit, and you might even see me kind of mixing them a little bit, but right now I'm mixing the phthalo blue, the teal, and a little bit of white together. Off to the side, but I'm going to start off with the phthalo blue on the top right and kind of make this my dark corner. And there is a little bit of black mixed into the phthalo blue to give it that dark. So I'm kind of just messing around with the colors a little bit, adding in some like blue and black and just kind of just altering it. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine if you're following along, so you can kind of make it whatever you want. You could even do the same thing with any other color if you want to make the background pink, whatever. And then with the background, we want it kind of dreamlike, so we're doing a very swirly motion and just adding in darks and lights as we go, just to kind of blend everything in, and there's no too much of abrupt change. In this little section right here, I used more of that teal and white, and then added more of the white and phthalo blue together to kind of make that a little lighter. And then over here I added in more teal, kind of lost my dark color there, so I added in more back in the phthalo. And I'm just circling, and that's what we're going to do this entire canvas. And just kind of build on. If you feel like you've lost one color, just kind of go back in with a lighter version or a darker version of that color and just blend it in to your heart's desire. So with this kind of thing, it doesn't matter if the white shows up through the paints. It's just going to add to it. So make sure you just have fun with that. And like I said, the reason why I chose unicorns is because they tend to be like a beacon of, oh yay, look at me, I'm full of clouds and rainbows kind of thing. So I needed a little bit of a pick-me-up, so I wanted to do something fun, not something that's too detail intensive per se, because you've seen some of my other stuff if you've watched my other videos. If you haven't, go check them out. I get pretty in-depth on a lot of my paintings, so yeah. So just build on as you like on here. And then that top right corner is the only corner I'm going to make dark, so I'm just going to kind of keep this on the theme of teal, light blue, and white. And then when it dries, it'll actually sometimes it does the reverse, but this one I think darkened when it dried. So yeah. So I changed my mind right here and added a little bit more dark blue just to kind of blend it in. And sometimes when you just drag the paint up through the other wet paint, it blends in how it's supposed to and you don't really get a hard edge. Also, a good tip for if you're a photographer and you want to make your own backgrounds, you could typically get a big canvas like this, like a big one. I've seen some that are bigger than me, and do the same exact technique here, or even do like background designs or anything like that. But it's a fantastic photography trick if you're into doing that. So what I did here, excuse me, is I took the leftover white that I had and diluted it down, or put a lot of water in it and just splattered it on there to kind of give it like a star effect. And then I let that dry, and I ended up time-lapsing this so it'd be a little bit quicker. So what you'll do is your basic shape of a triangle for the horn, triangle for the ears, and then a half circle for the jaw, a kind of like a cut off edge rectangle for the nose, and then almost a slight triangle for the body. Now for the hair, I'm kind of doing the same thing I did with the background and kind of making it not rough but smooth and make it very flowy. And I forgot to mention in here with this one, I actually used a magenta pink, so it makes that kind of pop look for it. And then we're just going to do these little loop-de-loop kind of swirly things around the entire top of the unicorn to emphasize on the hair. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight because typically with just horses in general, their mane's very flowy. So it could be everywhere. So we're going to start off with painting with titanium white on the neck and the jaw. As you saw, I did a half circle there. And just kind of fill in where you drew. And then round off where the nose goes. And then fill in there. And then a triangle for the ear, but a little bit curved on the outside, because if you look at a horse's ear, it's not exactly a triangle, but it does have the shape of one. And then just fill in the rest of the neck. And just Now you'll want to, since you put that stuff in, is to draw another outside triangle and kind of fill in any gaps that you have there, because we want our unicorn to be solid white. But like I said, you don't have to do how I do it. And I'm making little stars out here because I'll show you in just a second what I'm going to do with those. But yeah, you want to make them pretty much whatever color you want. You could do them black with fire hair, or you can do them pink with blue hair, that kind of stuff. And then you'll paint yellow and white mixed together and do a triangle on top of the hair to make his horn. And now what I'm doing is taking, after it's dried up a little bit, is taking some of the pink and the white and just making little highlight marks to kind of give the unicorn a little bit of pizzazz. And then I quickly flashed up there is super glue, and I have these little gems that I had just laying around, so I finally found out something to do with them. And if you're a kid watching this, please get your parents' help. I have seen one too many kids' fingers glued together with those. So you need to be really careful. I've accidentally glued my fingers together. If you happen to do that, just get some nail polish remover and it will actually dissolve the super glue. Or if you know anyone who's a painter or anything like that, has lacquer. Lacquer will actually dissolve the super glue. So now we're going back into real time, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing in some of my other videos, outline and marker, since this is more of a cartoony kind of feel to it, not necessarily realism. So you're going to make just a couple lines and follow the outline of where you have the white, and then I'm going to do a swirly on the inside of the hair to kind of give it some more character, and then follow that around. And oops, I pulled up some paint there, but I can fix that. And my marker's tending to be a little pain in the butt right here. It's a brand new marker, so it's not used to drawing on the canvas, so it tends to stick to the paint and not leave any ink. So I'll have to go over it a few times. And I couldn't find my big marker, the one that was actually used to doing this, so if you find out that your marker's not wanting to work, either you can press down on it really hard to make some ink flow down into the felt up in the top, or if you have a piece of paper, just kind of dab it on the piece of paper to clear off any kind of debris, or if you accidentally got paint on it or anything like that. But I end up doing that quite a few times. I even drew on myself a little bit. So yeah. And I finally got it to work a little bit better there. So to draw the eyes, I did an L shape, just kind of with some extra markings on the bottom. And then we're going to do that same loop-de-loop thing right here around the hair. And then I'm going to fill in some spots so that way I could draw on the main line. That way, if you forgot to paint in a spot or anything like that, you can always take the marker and kind of draw over it a little bit and kind of hide it. With art, you kind of have a little bit of a leeway to kind of decide what you want to do, or if you do have a happy mistake, to go back and fix it how you see fit, or even take it as it is and make something new of it. I've done that in several landscapes where a tree didn't quite turn out like a tree, so I ended up turning it into a bush. So yeah, you just got to work with it. And then right here I'm just darkening the lines because I finally got my marker to work. And then tightening up those lines. And don't worry if some of the color kind of gets outside of the lines. We kind of want it whimsical. If you've ever seen some drawings where it looks like the paint kind of just is watercolored outside of it, that's what I was kind of going for here. And then you sign your picture. You don't have to sign it if you don't want to, but that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to go back and fix that little spot right there. Quick fix with some white. And then kind of filling in some blue spots that I started to see. Sometimes when the white dries, it'll dry a little bit clearer than what it was, so you can kind of patch it over. But other than that, that's pretty much the end of this video here. And at the end of this, you'll see the final picture. And if you like this one, or if you have a different suggestion, just remember to comment down below, and I will see you guys later.